Hi guys, it's Laura from How to Get Your Shit Together, and in this week's video I am going to be telling you the number one thing that I have been doing to get my shit together in 2016, and it is called the mind sweep. Sounds scary, really isn't. I first came across this in David Allen's book, Getting Things Done. If you know me at all, you will know that I love this book. And I have to say that since I started implementing this on January 1st of this year, it has really upped my game. I mean, I am getting shit done left, right, and center, and I really think that it could help you too. So I want to show you what it is, how I do it, how it differs from a brain dump, and how you can get the most out of it. Let's go. So what is a mind sweep? Basically, it is a download of everything that is in your brain. It's where you get everything in your head written down so that you never forget anything again. Sounds good, right? Thumbs up if, like me, you are shattered by the end of the day, but as soon as your head hits that pillow, all your brain wants to do is relive every single memory from your life, and not only relive it, but tell you how you could have done it differently. And not only that, but it also wants to look to the future and start imagining all sorts of amazing scenarios that might come to fruition. Yeah, your brain can be a bitch. Give it a helping hand. If a thought pops into your head, write it down so at least your brain will think, I'm done with that now, I can move on. Because your brain isn't really supposed to be this giant storage facility. It's supposed to be a giant fun factory where you can get all sorts of creative and stuff. And yeah, sure, maybe there's a little storeroom out the back, but in general it's supposed to be about creating ideas and connecting the dots between things, and the mind sweep can really help you achieve that. Sounds pretty snazzy, huh? Yeah. It is really simple to implement, it is cheap, and it is easy to maintain. All you'll really need is a notebook and a pen. Whatever writing utensil really floats your boat. For me, I am a big girl, traditional and reliable. You can be a Sharpie if you so choose. No judgment. You could also use a note-taking app if that is your preference, and really you probably should, because enough trees have died in my name. They have sacrificed their lives for my stationery habit. So yeah, we should probably focus more on saving the trees. Now all you have to do is keep your app or your notebook with you wherever you go and write down anything that is of any consequence. As soon as you remember that you have to buy milk, write it down. If you have a great idea for a blog post or a work project or a business that's going to make you your first billion, write it down. As soon as your kid does something hilarious, you write it down. So here are some examples of some things that I have written down, just to give you an idea of what sweeping your mind is like. Example number 1. 4:30 p.m, starting to feel tired, watching YouTube videos didn't help. I have noticed the past few weeks that in the middle of the day that I'm starting to run out of steam. So by actually writing it down, I became much more mindful of it, and now I'm trying different things to get my energy levels back up. I'm trying to figure out why I'm feeling so tired. I know everyone talks about the kind of mid-afternoon slump, but I'm trying to figure out if it's because it's lack of sleep, or maybe I'm not eating enough foods that give me energy, various different reasons. So I'm trying to find out why I'm feeling that slump, but also what I can do to kind of re-energize myself. So I thought maybe like switching off my brain, just watching some YouTube videos, that might help my brain to recharge, but that did not work for me. So just by writing it down, I have become much more mindful of it, and I'm now actively looking for ways to improve the situation and increase my energy levels. So that's a good one, even though it sounds pretty crazy. Example number 2. Periscope on phone from now on. iPad quality is shite. Also, use a stand. Arm is broken off me. I started on Periscope this month. January 3rd did my first Periscope broadcast. thought the iPad would be much better because it's bigger screen, I could read everyone's comments. No, it's an old iPad. The quality, I was all pixelated, it was horrendous. And also holding up an iPad for about 45 minutes was horrendous. My arm was in bits, not just that day, but all the next day too. Need to invest in a stand. Example number 3, buy new tongue ring, because I've had this one for about 15 years, and even though throughout those 15 years I have thought I really should buy a new tongue ring, I've never actually done anything about it. But now it is written down, it is on my to-do list, it is getting done. Whereas if I hadn't written it down, I'd still be thinking about it in 15 years to come. Example number 4, edited vlog, but it's shit. Just a random thought that occurred to me, wrote it down, actually made me rethink the whole vlogging thing. If you've noticed, I've stopped doing the vlogs, and it's not because I've stopped recording myself daily, it's because I think I'm going to move them onto a second channel so that people can opt into them rather than opting out of my main channel. Example 5, the only recipes I'm good at are recipes for disaster. Again, just a random thought that occurred to me. Cannot cook for the life of me, but can cook up trouble like that. So you get the idea. They don't have to be sane thoughts, they just have to be thoughts. Because frankly, if I only ever wrote down my sane thoughts, I'd be looking at a lot of blank paper. All of those trees would have died in vain. So how is it different to a brain dump, you may ask? I do have a video on what a brain dump is, so if you want to check that out, I will link to it in the description box below. But basically, a brain dump is usually done in one sitting. You sit down and you write down everything you can think of in that moment, and then you move on with your day. It can be great for getting things out of your head, particularly if there's kind of one big topic that's been driving you mad. It can be good for that. The mind sweep, on the other hand, is a more consistent system. It's more of a continuous process throughout the day, so you're not struggling to remember things or struggling to think of things to write down. You're actually capturing them as they pop into your head. So mind sweep, thing pops up, thing gets written down. Brain dump, thing pops up. Good luck remembering that when you come to do a brain dump next. So it should be pretty obvious why you're doing it. You're doing it so that you never forget anything again, because you have a written record of anything. But I know there are going to be some people out there who are like, but doesn't it take so much time to write everything down? Only if you write really, really slowly. And I actually do. I'm a very slow writer, but it takes me a matter of seconds. And in the grand scheme of things, actually saves me a lot of time. I find now a lot of the time that I'll go to write down a question that has been bugging me for a while, and before I've even finished writing it, my brain has already come up with a solution or an answer to the problem. Because let's face it, unless you're some form of Buddhist monk or something, you're probably going to have a billion thoughts running through that pretty little head of yours, and before you can blink, your brain has moved on. So unless you capture it, it is possibly gone forever, or it will wait until the most inopportune moment before it pops up again. Why? But capturing it and focusing on it long enough to write it down really makes your brain much more aware of it, so that it can subconsciously start working away on solutions and answers. Because remember, your brain power shouldn't be taken up by just remembering things. It should be used for processing and creativity, for connecting the dots and coming up with new ideas. It can't do that if it's constantly reminding you to buy shampoo. So if, like me, you start writing everything down and reviewing it fairly regularly, you're probably going to be on top of everything. So if this sounds like something that you might be interested in, you should probably pop on over and check out a blog post that I wrote on it. It goes into it in a lot more detail, a lot more depth. I will link that in the description box below. Before you know it, you will be a mind-sweeping machine who never forgets anything. But seriously, if I were to pinpoint the one thing that has really kickstarted my productivity in 2016, the mind sweep would be it. And that's it for another video. Next week will be the last week in January. Can you believe that? So because it's the end of the first month of the year, and because we're all trying to keep track of resolutions and goals and all of that good stuff, next week I am going to be showing you how I do my monthly review. It's something that I do at the end of every month, and I've been doing it for a long time now, and it really keeps me on track with my goals and helps to make sure that I'm always making progress towards them. So hit the red subscribe button below if you haven't already, and the internet fairies will shoot that video right into your subscription list. Magic. If you're on Periscope, why not add me over there? I do fairly regular live streams, which are just general chit chats where I talk crazy to people, but I get to interact with all of you wonderful viewers, and it is so much fun. So I am HowToGYST over there, so please do give me a follow and I will follow you back. As usual, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.